These are the 10 phone-free analog activities that I love to do that make me feel 10 times calmer. Hey, my name's Chantel, and if you're a creative person like me that feels sometimes really stuck when you're just scrolling and looking at things online, then this video is for you. I used to tell myself to draw, I used to tell myself to read, I used to tell myself to journal, and every single time I would find myself just scrolling and scrolling, and before I knew it, it was midnight and I had spent several hours just scrolling on my phone. So I started by building these simple analog activities into my everyday life. And these things use my hand, they use my brain and help me to slow down and relax. And honestly, they've really helped me to reconnect to my creativity. So the first tip on creating a creative phone-free reset ritual is start with a 10-minute art session. Even if you don't feel like it, it doesn't have to be good. It can be anything that you want. If you just feel like scribbling, if you just feel like sketching or painting, I usually start thinking that it's going to be 10 minutes and I get so into it that it becomes 1 hour. I draw little doodles, I do some really nice meditative pen work, or sometimes I do it with watercolors where I just let my brush follow the page and just really enjoy the moment. I do fun characters and I really just explore where my mind is feeling. You can really meditate through art, and it doesn't have to be anything, you don't have to show it to anyone. It can just be messy, fun, and really creative. The goal isn't to make good art. The goal is just to get your brain out of the scroll mode and into creativity and meditation. Moving on to the next tip, that is, go out for a slow walk in nature. I always find when I walk out in nature with no music on, just really relaxing, it can really just help to reset my mind and get my brain into the present moment. I come up with my most creative ideas, and I always find that I feel refreshed and relaxed after a long, beautiful walk. So even if you have just a nearby park or any local areas where there's nature, those are great spots for you to go for your walk and just really enjoy the surroundings. A lot of my floral inspiration in my art actually comes from these walks. So you never know what you might find going on long walks. It's like giving your brain visual inspiration instead of digital noise. My third tip is to journal to clear your mind. When I'm feeling mentally cluttered, I always like to do a 5-minute journaling session. This is when I just throw out all my ideas, anything that's in my brain, and it just really helps me to work through and declutter my mind. I write down thoughts, I write down things that I'm grateful for, and any random creative ideas, things that I need to do, or I sometimes even write about my day as well and what I've done or what I need to do in the future. It's surprisingly calming because you're getting everything out of your head onto the paper, and then you don't need to worry about it anymore. Next tip for creating your phone-free creative ritual is just study something for fun. It doesn't have to be for anything important or to get good at it, just for your own fun. So over the years, I've been studying Japanese in the evenings, just casually and just for fun, because I enjoy the way that it sounds and I like to relax into drawing out the different characters, reading different books in Japanese. And it's not really for productivity or even becoming proficient in the language. I just do it because I enjoy it. I'll sit with a notebook and practice characters or vocabulary, and it just feels really satisfying to really learn things analog, and it's way different from just consuming stuff digitally. If you are thinking about learning a language or learning how to play music or anything, definitely consider doing it the analog way. My next tip on creating a calming creative reset is coloring. Coloring books are so incredible, and that's why I've created several coloring books of my own, because not only do I love coloring them, but I also love designing them as well. One of my favorite rituals is just coloring while listening to music or having a film in the background, or sometimes nothing at all, and just allowing my brain to relax and color in the page. One of those activities where your hands are busy but your mind can actually relax. I actually designed this coloring book. It's called Bliss Vibes. It's filled with positive affirmations and really cute characters that I designed. I wanted it to feel like a little moment of calm and encouragement at the end of the day. So I have great pleasure when coloring in this coloring book. And if you'd love to check this out, I've linked it down in my description box. My next tip is to read a physical book. I know everyone says this, but they say it for a reason because it really helps to ground you into the moment when you're reading a physical book. I like to read 10 pages before I go to bed every night. Physical books slow you down in ways that phones can't. Even a few pages help your brain to switch from stimulation to relaxation. My next tip is trying out yoga. Yoga is such a fantastic one to try out. Sometimes when I've just been sitting for the whole entire day, specifically because I work from home, I sit at the desk a lot, it's really nice to just take 10 minutes, a break from the screen, a break from your phone. A lot of times when we do our breaks during work, sometimes I found myself just thinking, oh, I'm just going to take a break, and then I'll look at the phone and start scrolling. And that doesn't actually give you a break because you're still looking at another screen. So by doing yoga, it really just helps you to connect with your breath and do those healthy stretches that help you to have that mobility in your day. Nothing intense, nothing insane, just breathing, just relaxing, just light, gentle, restorative stretches. It really just helps to relieve tension and just helps you to feel more relaxed. The next thing that I love to do when I want to be phone free is getting into a sewing project. I love sewing my own clothes and I also love mending things. Now, you don't need to sew your whole entire wardrobe to really enjoy the benefits of sewing. You could sew something, small projects like small little bags, even pillow covers are a great one. I actually did this one. This one was one of my older projects that I've done, but they are super easy and can be done in an hour and don't take too much instruction. Get yourself a sewing book, really read through it, because in sewing books there's lots of tips about how to use your sewing machine. It tells you exactly how to do some of the hand stitching and techniques. And then further on in the books, they usually walk you through some sewing projects like home decor projects like pillowcases, or even how to sew your own clothes. So highly recommend reading a book, and that's a great way to learn how to sew in an analog way. Sewing is just a really satisfying activity where you're getting busy, and at the same time it's a great activity where there's no pressure. So it doesn't matter if you mess it up because you can always create a new one. Now the next one is something that I love doing often, and that is baking something simple. Baking is one of those slow sensory activities that feels so relaxing. You're measuring ingredients, you're mixing, you're smelling things. It can be a great chance to go through one of your recipe books and look at all of the recipes and pick one that you want to do. Plus, you end up with delicious cinnamon rolls or a cake or cookies at the end. My 10th activity is crochet and knitting. I'm going to put them in the same basket. I know that they're different, but they can be both really fantastic activities where you're using your hands and you're just having fun creating a project. Again, this is similar to the sewing. You can pick up a book with patterns in it, with techniques, and I really love going to secondhand vintage shops. They have amazing crochet patterns and crochet tutorials within those books. Go to a library and get an old crochet book, or even go to a secondhand bookshop. Knitting your own scarves, knitting gifts for people is so meditative. You can just get into it and just knit while you're listening to a podcast, or while you're listening to some music, or listening to nothing at all, and just have that meditative practice of just moving your hands and making something. And plus, at the end, you have a really cute piece that you've created by hand. So at this point of the video, you're probably wondering how you can actually stick to your phone-free activities without reverting back to scrolling again. And I completely understand how you feel. That's why I created a free guide called the Creative Art Reset Challenge. Simply click the link in my description box or the pinned comment below to get your copy for free. And if you're someone who loves creativity and calm, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I do videos on art and creative projects. Bye everyone.